All right, everyone. Welcome to Coyotes Coach Chats. And today we've got John Madden with us. Real quick, this call is recorded. It'll be available after today's session. And please go ahead and drop any questions that you have in the Q&A box or the chat box. There will be some time towards the end of the call for some Q&A with John. So please do so. And I'm going to have Shane take it away and do all the introductions.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We are so fortunate that we have Mads on here with us today. He's one of those guys that is not just an icon as a coach, but as a player. What he accomplished in his career was absolutely incredible. He won the Selke in 2002, 2003 season, I believe. He won 3 Stanley Cups. Obviously, he was a huge part of the New Jersey Devils, but he's also the guy that they brought in Chicago to push them over the top to win the Stanley Cup. I think he played in 150 playoff games, which I think I got in like 15 in my career. So that just shows the teams that he was on and the contributions that he made. I think he finished in I think 2 or 3 on his team in scoring in his second year in the playoffs. He just had an incredible career. Somebody that I've got to know in the last little bit really well, and I'm absolutely blown away with his hockey IQ and the way he sees the game. He does the penalty kill, and I talk to him constantly about the power play because he sees the game the way to defend it so well. And then he also is a guy that sees the offensive side. So we're so fortunate to have him. Mads, thank you so much for coming on with us. The coaches in Arizona are very fortunate that the Coyotes coaches do this, and to have someone like yourself on board is very special. And to Christina and to Mike, again, as always, thank you guys so much for setting this up. Christina does an amazing job. I hope we all appreciate all the work that she puts in behind the scenes, and what Mike does to organize this and get it done is huge. So thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Donor. Appreciate the kind words. All right, we ready to go? Everybody can hear me? We're all set?
Yep. Take it away.
All right, sounds good. So welcome, everybody. I hope today that I can help you guys help the young kids grow the game a little bit. I think overall what I'm going to do is I'm going to first talk about the power play. It's not my expertise in terms of scoring goals, but I certainly defended against a lot of great hockey players out there. So kind of like Donor there, and kind of understand what's going on the ice. So there's a couple things that I think is very important for young kids and their development about how to score goals, why goals go in the net. And I think it's good for coaches to understand it too. And the first thing I'm going to start with is this money line right here. The thing I call a money line, you may have heard of it in other different terms, but there's an imaginary line I have that goes all the way down the middle of the ice right to the goalie. Okay. And in this situation, the reason why I call it a money line, any pass that goes from here to this side of the money line, your percentage of scoring goes dramatically higher. Now, if he was to make a pass from there over to this guy over here, again, the numbers go increasingly higher. And the reason for this is the goalie. He has to react from this guy, change his angle, and then react to that guy, change his angle, and then the shot on net. So understanding where the play is. The second thing I think young kids need to understand is that the most dangerous guy is the weak side. So if you draw the money line again, this would be called the strong side, okay? So we got the strong side over here. This is the weak side. Strong side's always where the puck is. So for you guys out there, understanding that when you talk to somebody, the strong side where the puck is, but the weak side's where all the goals are being scored in the NHL today. In fact, as long as I can remember, this is the way it's been done. Second thing, just before we get going here, we're going to talk about power play. A couple things, just so everybody can stay on board. We call this the QB. Just like in football, he's a quarterback. He anchors the whole thing. He's the one that has the most touches. The guys on the side, Stamkos, Kucherov, these are the flanks, okay? The guy in the middle of the ice, point right here, he's the bumper, okay? And the guy in front of the net's just a net front guy, okay? So when we go through these things, if I say flank, I'm referring to this. I say other flank, right flank, left flank, I'm referring to that. If I say the QB, he's here. If I say the bumper, he's right here. And then obviously the net front guy, all right? So for example, I'm just going to talk about a series of plays that are about to happen, and I'm going to go through all these. When this pass is made, we're not going to talk about the PK right away and what they're trying to do on the penalty kill side of it. We're just going to talk about the power play. These guys are trying to find guys on the weak side of the ice, okay? And the reason why they're trying to do this, If we come down, you can see the goalie has to react to that play right there. Okay, so if I back it up right now, the net is wide open and you can see that. So once it crosses this money line, he has to find it, and he's also maybe have a screen in front of him. So what ends up happening is this, every time a money line play is made, and I'll show it one more time, the chances of scoring go increasingly high on this one. All right, so we go to the next clip from here, and we talk about the fake money line, or sorry, the fake one-timer play. As it come down, it's nearly the same play on this one right here, where Kucherov is lower, we draw our money line, the weak side is where you score goals. Here comes the pass, and as it comes over, he fakes it this time. I want you to focus on the goalie. Right now, at this moment in time, he's overplaying the one-timer because he's already seen it once. Now there's another money line right here because the puck's on this side, the money line changes to that side, and another money line, and he finds the back of the net. So those are called two money line plays, and there's just different ways of setting them up. From a power plays perspective, you're always trying to find the weak side of the ice, and you're always trying to find the guy that's open on the weak side through the money line. So now we're going to talk money line, seam, weak side, and backdoor plays. So on this one, I'll just run you through it real quick right here. Money line, seam play. Any puck that goes from here through this money line to the other side is a goal, or the percentages go higher. So one, he could have the seam play. He chooses the backdoor play on this one. In my opinion, this is the highest percentage play. And obviously you can see that the goalie has to honor the shooter, but obviously you can understand why the money line and the weak side is the most important, because all it is a tap-in. So these are almost for sure goals. If you're to put this on an analytic chart, I think this one might register 70%. I'm not sure why it's not 100, because it's a complete empty net play. So that's what you get when you get a money line, seam, weak side, backdoor. These are plays that every player should be understanding what you're looking for, okay? What you're looking for is the open weak side play, whether it's this guy or this guy. All right, moving forward on this one, goal line plays. So as a power play unit, the flank has the puck. He has realized he doesn't really have a seam play. He doesn't have the bumper play. So he goes to the goal line play. So once it goes to the goal line, every player on the ice has to understand who the most dangerous shooter is now. The most dangerous shooter is here, and the reason for it is because of that. This goalie has to honor him. Once he makes this play, he has that all the way to get over there and make the save on that. And as you see this one here, as Carolina makes the play there, and it's in the back of the net. As we play it through, I'll just walk you through it real quick again. Flank has the puck from the QB. It goes up top. He finds the goal line guy. He doesn't have the bumper. This guy doesn't have the seam pass. He finds him, and now it's to the backdoor side. And maybe some of you guys are wondering why, they haven't figured out that the guy on the weak side's the obvious one that's open. It's a hard thing right now for players. The game's happening a lot faster than me slowing it down. So I'm not making fun of any teams. In fact, the team that's killing out there is very good at killing penalties. So once again, goal line through this money line to the side are the plays that you should be developing and helping out with kids. We'll go to the next one here. It's a money line, it's a goal line slot play. Okay. And this is one that we can all do as it goes down to the goal line, back out to the front of the net. Goalie has to honor this guy, which leaves that little place of the net open. You'd obviously have the weak side play as well. Okay. So what we're trying to develop here is we're trying to develop plays that will always isolate the weak side play and draw attention to the strong side. Okay. Seam through the money line. This is Dallas, who has one of the best power plays in the league. They find the seam. You'll watch the goalie. He has to readjust himself. Screen. He's standing up tall. Can't see the puck right now, and he's trying to find it again. As he comes down, he goes goal line. Now, obviously, they have backdoor play, and they have the bumper play available to him. Again, making the goalie move. Goalie's not sure which one to go. And if I rewind this really quick, when you have these attack modes in this triangle, okay, you'll watch the goalie. He thinks it's going here, and it actually goes to this guy, and he overplays the backdoor play, which allows this little poke in right there. So those are the plays that you want to isolate with your players. If we go to the next one here, it's a money line seam back to the QB. So these are areas that you can do just 5-on-0, get out there with kids and understand, make them understand this grid right here where there's different things going on. He's the most dangerous guy at this time right here. If he goes here, now this guy becomes the most dangerous guy. Everything to the weak side, you can develop this. And the way you can develop this, just real quick while I got on top of my mind, you can just put some tires on the ice, and understand anytime you're able to walk down and make a pass to the weak side, that becomes a dangerous opportunity for the other, or for the power play. This one's here with Barkov. You can see the glaring seam wide open on this one right here. Finds the seam, goes back to the top. And again, the money line can move a little bit depending on how much the goalie has to move. So once he moves to that point, the money line can move over a little bit. They go back almost through the money line here, and it's a shot on that with a screen in front. Goalie has no chance on those plays right there as long as there's a screen. Now these ones here are the money line seams that you're not really producing as a young coach. You're not saying, hey, we want to make multiple passes when we're in scoring areas. But if you watch this one here, and the reason why I put this one on is you'll notice that both flanks, this flank right here is not a one-timer. He gives him kind of a back pass and he can't shoot it. But what he does, he buys time and finds the back door again. Obviously, you can see this guy right here in net. He's like, where's the puck? And it's in the back of the net. So these are the double money line seams. And obviously, anytime you can make two passes through the money line, that's one, that's two, and it's in the back of the net. All right. So as we go forward, as we rewind through this whole thing again, the money line drawn down the middle is the most important thing. We're going to talk a little PK now. Okay. So what we're going to talk about, money line versus PK, and this part right here is a T intersection. I'll draw a T there, where anytime there's an intersect here between this, the guy that's covering it, which is normally the bumper guy on the power play, becomes your T intersection guy. For me on a penalty kill, this guy's the most important guy with anything. He kind of dictates what's going on, how things are going to play, what plays are available, because he's protecting anything that's crossing this line almost by himself all the time. So if you watch this one here and focus on this guy right here with the money lines, the same play I showed you, he should have been out here protecting that first seam pass. That's the first thing he should have done, protect it. There's nobody behind him. This is the only sole guy he should be having. Obviously, a top-down pressure in this area, you want to make sure you're helping with that. The puck stays to the outside. But right now, he could have protected that. So this is the very first one. And again, he should have shaded over here. If he understands that this is the money line and a pass from here to here is dangerous, and this shot directly on net is not as dangerous, if he flexes on this flank, he'd have a better opportunity on defending that. That's basically his 2-on-1. So PKers will understand there's a series of 2-on-1s on every play. Okay, right now, his 2-on-1 is this. That's his guy, 2-on-1, take a step. This guy's not a threat. That's this D-man's 2-on-1. Anything to the goal lines, that guy's 2-on-1 right now. Anything back up top is his 2-on-1. So there's a series of 2-on-1s that the penalty killers have to understand. Right here, that was his first mistake. And I'm not making fun of Buffalo. It happens to us just as much. But now this shot is the shot that if you're going to give something up, you'd give it up, because we don't want the puck to cross the money line. But once this puck crosses, he tries to block it. But again, great scoring opportunity. He didn't identify his 2-on-1s. If I go to the next clip here, the fake one-timer one, walking down, it's almost identical play. This is his 2-on-1. He doesn't do a good enough job denying that play. Okay. This guy right now has a 2-on-1 as soon as it comes to the top. His 2-on-1 again is to this side right here. Okay. He decides to take this guy, which is fine. And if he goes low to this guy, if he just stays with him, that would have been his other 2-on-1. The other 2-on-1 this guy has is the backdoor play right here. So it's a series of 2-on-1. They find him, and it's in the back of the net. So for every penalty killer out there, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to create a bunch of scenarios in practice where there's 2-on-1s out of the corner, there's 2-on-1s in front of the net, there's 2-on-1s from behind the net, and create these little games, games. And you can put a couple nets or a couple areas where you play 2-on-1, whether it's in this circle, use the whole circle, put a monkey in the middle type thing where you're trying to keep the puck away and understand, have these guys move around the outside, just two guys, and find that guy where you're trying to find. You got to look over your shoulder, protect the weak side a little bit at a time. So these are some things that you can do in practice as well. And they're great drills just for overall awareness. Okay. So we'll watch this one again. We're coming down here. So we talk about a series of 2-on-1s. The top down pressures, guys, has anything coming in the back. This guy right here has anything to the weak side. This guy here has the shooter, but he's also helping with the middle. And this guy should be protecting the back door from this guy making all pass all the way back door. So if I run this play, he tries to pick this guy's stick. He knows that guy's there, but he's trying to do too much. The most important guy on the ice, to me, and the most dangerous guy in the whole entire building is this guy on the backdoor side. If he shoots this puck and it's a tip, the goalie has a high percentage to stop that play. So what we're trying to do, again, is recognize who the most dangerous guy is. The guy in the back door, if he has to go one knee down and protect this 2-on-1, that's his 2-on-1. That's fine as he goes down, but he doesn't do it, and it's in the back of the net. If we go to the next play here, we have a goal line, weak side, back door through the money line. So we'll watch a couple different 2-on-1s on this one, and they're all different scenarios. This guy should be back in the middle helping with this 2-on-1, but also helping this. This is this guy right here, and I talked about him in the T intersection, right? If he can do a good job protecting that seam, they shouldn't have a play. Now, when it goes down to the goal line, this weak side guy is this guy's responsibility. That's his 2-on-1. This guy, if he wants to pass to him, that becomes his 2-on-1 in this area. Now, other teams have covered this differently, and you'll see it on TV, where this guy goes with him when it goes to the goal line play, and that's his 2-on-1, and this guy covers him. The way that these guys cover it, and you can see him trying to get his feet in the area, and he makes a really good play on this play, but that is his 2-on-1. So from a PP standpoint, right now, the way these goals are going in, they're finding the 2-on-1s fairly easy. Obviously, they're goals, and they're we call them breakdowns on penalty kill wise. But for overall, what they're doing is they're finding 2-on-1s, and the defensive team are not identifying as quickly. You can see him trying with his feet to get over here to find that quickly, that 2-on-1. As we go to the next play here, goal line slot play. Okay, we've seen this one already as a goal. Once again, there's a series of 2-on-1s. One, he's trying to block the shot, which is fine, but you'll watch the series of 2-on-1s. Once it goes to the goal line, that guy has the puck. This guy needs to be picked up on his 2-on-1, and he's just a little late on it, and it's a goal in the back of the net. So what we're getting at here is just a bunch of series of 2-on-1s all the time. And as long as you understand it and you can teach this in practice and you can do small area games with it, we're always an odd man in the play. In fact, when I was coaching youth hockey for a long time there before my son went off to college, a lot of our games were odd man rushes or odd man games where there was one guy should always be open, and we had to identify who the most dangerous guy was. So for fun little games, you can do an end zone or just out of the corner with one little net. You got to understand that there's always somebody open, even when you're playing 5-on-5. But it's easily done or explained better when you're playing shorthanded. Here we go again, seam money line. You'll watch this guy right here overplays that and lets the seam go to the other side, which would have been his 2-on-1 immediately right there. Now we reshuffle the deck on a seam pass. Now everybody's got to find a new 2-on-1 right now. So as they come down, here comes a 2-on-1. This guy right here has the puck. He has that guy available who's the most dangerous. 4 should play him and hold on to him. That's the most dangerous guy. This guy's 2-on-1 now becomes this guy in the middle of the ice with secondary help from the guy from the 55 coming in here, okay? As we roll it down, everybody's just a little late. He makes a play there. This guy does his job this time, but they're able to find this guy right here, and it's in the back of the net. So if we rewind that again, that's why these seam passes, if you can keep the puck on the strong side, not let those happen, because now everybody has a new 2-on-1. So it's reshuffling the deck. Now we got to figure it out. You'll watch 4's reaction. That's my 2-on-1. He's trying to help this 2-on-1, and he's a little bit late on it. But when that puck moves around like that and there's some execution, it's hard to find 2-on-1s. Money line, seam, QB. So we talk about the quarterback on the top here. Barkov walks down. Again, your 2-on-1 is this guy right here. His 2-on-1 backup is this guy right here. This guy's helping here. Maybe should be over here for that 2-on-1. And this guy's responsible for him right now. But once this play is made, the most dangerous guy on the ice again is this guy back door. So you got to go find that guy every single time. You'll watch this to the top. And this one's not about finding 2-on-1 so close to the net. It's more about figuring out who's the most dangerous guy. These guys do all their jobs. Now he could cut that 2-on-1 and not let him make that play through the money line and in the back of the net. Couple more here. We'll just talk about some more 2-on-1s because I want to drive home my point is there's always a 2-on-1 about to happen, and it's the best way to create offense. We talked about the double seam play here. You'll watch number 11 for Philly right here in the middle. Lets that seam pass go. So once he has it here, most dangerous guy are on the weak side. Finds the other guy on the weak side. I know this guy does a good job and buries him in the net, but because they're able to find weak side plays, if I rewind that, how many times a seam pass will change your 2-on-1? Here's one right here. Again, finding your 2-on-1, because he overplays this in the closeness to the net right now. He finds that seam back. If this guy was to go back to the top where number 11 originally was, that would be his 2-on-1. But because they're attacking the net, they're working downhill, and they're working themselves into better situations on 2-on-1, they're able to find these plays rather quickly and score another goal. All right, so if I go back to the top real quick, I just want to make mention of a few things from the penalty kill perspective. First and foremost, if you give time and space, you watch every one of these plays right here. He has time, he has space, and he makes a play, right? It's easy for players, particularly at the NHL level, to make plays. He had time and space, he makes another play. They're moving it around. He has time and space, he makes another play, and he's moving it around. As a penalty killer, I would teach pressure. So for example, we're going. Even if he makes this pass, we're going to jump. He should jump, get on top of that guy. What they're doing is they're allowing very good hockey players to pass the puck around them at will, basically. If we go to the next clip, it's pretty much the same thing again. Go, put pressure. When this puck gets pressure, all these guys on the ice that are playing defense have a very strong understanding of where the next play is going to happen. But when it goes slow, he has so many options, and he takes that one. He goes slow because he's not coming out and taking an option away. Now they have that one. He goes slow and doesn't flex properly, and it's slow again, which ends up in the back of the net. So the speed in which you kill penalties on or defend in that matter is it has to be quick. It has to be decisive. So if this guy's working at him, he needs to go. He cannot have time and space, hold on to it, and find the guy back door. When you give people time and space in the NHL or at any level, and it's one thing that you should use with the kids, is if we're going to do something, let's do it with pace. Let's do it with energy, enthusiasm, urgency to it. And I think it's the biggest thing killing penalties. Go at this guy. Everybody else can understand what's going to happen in this situation, and they're not going to be able to make these plays. I can continue a little bit more here. I'll show a couple more. Coming out rather slowly, making it obvious what his next play is as it comes over. If you're going, go. They make a play, go. If you're going, go. If you're going, whatever your coverage is, don't hold on and let them continue to make plays. If you put pressure on good players, and you'll watch an NHL game tonight probably, or over the next couple of days, or any player for that matter, it's what separates good players from the bad players, in my opinion, is players that can make plays under pressure are very good hockey players. So basically, if you put no pressure on a B or C hockey player, a C becomes a B becomes an A, and so on and so forth. So this pressure is what we're talking about. If you're going, go. If you're flexing, go. Whatever your system is, we need to be decisive right away. Because how slow it is, everything develops, and that's how these guys are able to make these plays. You'll watch a couple more here. Nobody put pressure on Pavelski on the wall here. He's able to stand here and at will make this pass like it's just a skill drill. Again, if you're going, go. There's no point of staying around. If you're going, go. If you're going, go. If you're going, get back there. That's the way this coverage would have worked. No one took a stride, and that's why they're getting scored on these situations. We try to lead with our sticks. Obviously, that's a good fundamental. But at the end of the day, we want to be aggressive, and we want to have pace to everything we do. Another situation here. Here are the Ducks coming down. He's flexing, but he's not flexing all the way through him. He's coming, but he's not coming all the way through him. So what we end up having is this seam right here, and he's able to hit the seam. So once he has a seam, 2 steps, he would have been here at this moment right now. He's on his backhand. You have him in a vulnerable position, but he's able to corral the puck off his backhand and make that play right there, which results in this play again. So like I said, for every single young player out there, we want pace. We want to take away time and space as best as possible. You'll watch 11 right now. He's kind of covering the middle of the ice, but not really covering the middle of the ice. If he had reacted immediately off this and jumped him right away, this guy wouldn't come in and be able to make that nice little play. Again, if he goes as hard as he can on this guy with a good stick, maybe he doesn't pull it to his backhand and make another play, and you end up in these bad situations. We go back to the top. It's just the same thing over and over again. Just to wrap up real quickly on a bunch of different things, there's obviously a ton of fundamentals that goes in the penalty kill. And just to rattle off a few right now, the things I would write down: time and space, pace on your penalty kill. The second thing I would write down is head on a swivel. Know where the weak side plays are. Know where those money line plays are. That would I be teaching in terms of fundamentals. Know your 2-on-1s. What is my 2-on-1? You have to identify it as quick as possible. And shot blocking. All right. That's more of a desperate mode. If you're using pace and have good sticks, that's more of a desperate mode where, you're a little bit of an emergency and you're not sure what's going on, but you're going to block a shot. Now, to go back to the power play real quick, wrapping up what they're trying to do, you're trying to create 2-on-1s. You're trying to make them vulnerable on the weak side. And as we went through all these clips, you'll see some of the best players in the NHL, but at any level, doesn't matter whether it's college hockey, junior hockey, or even AAA, AA, or whatever, you'll see guys who are really clever at figuring out where their 2-on-1 is and how to expose the other team's weakness, which is the weak side. That's pretty much all I have. If there's any questions, I will be happy to take them.
Awesome. So go ahead, and anyone who's on the call who has a question that you want to ask John, just go ahead and add that to the Q&A or chat box, but we don't have any questions quite yet.
John, I have one just to keep I coach a midget team here, some older teenagers, and we work on the power play, possibly once a week or thereabouts. But what are some core fundamental drills or the way you can go about practicing your power play and penalty kill on a daily, weekly basis, and without getting guys, penalty killers having to stand in shooting lanes and getting hurt and stuff like that, especially with the older kids? How much time when you were doing youth hockey were you working on power play and penalty kill?
You know what? I didn't spend a whole lot of time on, your one-timer over here from Stamkos or something like that. I wanted kids to think quickly. I wanted them to move quickly. So we would play a lot of small area games where it was always odd man. So there was always someone that'd be open, and it would do two things. One, from the penalty kill standpoint side, you would have to figure out who the most dangerous person was. So it was okay to give up shot that the goalie had a high percentage of stopping. We didn't want to give the easy backdoor player, the weak side, wide open net, those easy ones. And the other thing we talked about was pace of play. We wanted them to have to move the puck quickly and think quickly. Because as we know, we go out, I see a lot of guys go out and practice a 5-on-0 power play with no pressure on them, and everybody's zinging it around and it looks great. But you put a little pressure on them and things change really quick. It puts a couple things, emphasis on execution, where the one clip I show where the guy caught it on the backhand, even at the NHL level, you take 2 hard steps and get your stick on that, it breaks the play up. They're going to make bad passes, and by putting pace on them, maybe they don't find their 2-on-1. Maybe they don't find their outlet. But those are things I would do with small area games. I would always have pace. I don't want guys standing around. If it's 3 against 2 down low, we want to go, and take away their 2-on-1 options and just put pace on them to a point where, you're going to break enough plays up. It teaches you good stick. It teaches you, okay, I got to relax here for 1 second because my partner's buried in the corner, or so on and so forth. But it wasn't really about, your traditional, hey, you're a flank shooter, or you're a bumper guy, or you're that. It was just about thinking. And the one thing I realized is no matter where I put a guy, I could put little Timmy in this spot, little Johnny here, and Tommy over here. Then I'd switch them up the next game, move them all to different spots. But because the way they thought the game, they were able to play different positions rather quickly.
That makes sense.
Awesome. We don't have any other questions yet, but I have a question.
Sure.
So I always like to ask where you get inspiration for your drills. I think some of our coaches have been coaches for a really long time, and they're always looking for new concepts and new ways to practice plan. Where do you go to for inspiration for your drills?
Are you asking me how I come up with the drills, or where? Yeah. So honestly, a lot of it comes from, watching your own team play, where we're like, okay. And a lot of my drills are drills that I've seen somewhere else, but I tweak them to a point where they become more realistic. They're more game-like. I watch guys go out there and they have a lot of flow drills, which are fun for execution and just feeling a puck. But if I watched, just say this play right here, for example, I would talk to this guy and we'd make a drill up where I'm like, okay, you're the T intersection guy. We don't want these plays to happen anymore. Or if this guy fumbled the puck right now with that nice clean pass, I would do drills where I want you to have pressure, but I don't want you to fumble pucks. So we would work on certain things. If we were bad in front of our net with boxing out, I would think of actual drills, in my opinion, that I think are game-like. I think coaches don't really go to game-like drills enough. If I could run a whole practice, it would be a series of small area games that actually happen in practice, or sorry, happen in a game, and by implementing in practice. And don't get me wrong, there's some up and down the ice drills that I like to run every once in a while just for some pace and conditioning. But for overall play, if you watch every game, the game's won here tonight, it's one in front of the net the next night, or every night. It's one in these small little areas, and that's where you go to every time. It's like, man, I could have made a better play in that small little area. I think those are the things that I would run. Obviously, I did things a little bit different 15 years ago when I was coaching youth hockey, so I was going off of how I felt. But now that I watch hockey and break it down in a coach's mindset, I love the small area games. I mean, literally, this is a small area game right now that's happening on the power play or penalty kill. It's just a small area. And if you can make an even smaller area out of it and make it out of the corner and put a net somewhere in here and make it 3-on-2, the players are going to think faster in that area. So when they get to the game, this becomes easy for them. It becomes so much room. You're like, wow, I got so much time and space out here. So you're basically speeding the game up for them in practice so that when they get to the game, the game seems easy.
Love that. Okay, we do have a couple questions.
All right.
Can you walk through a couple different types of power play strategies, umbrella, sideboard, QB, etc., and tips for defending these types of power plays?
Sure. So we'll just, for me, I'll go through, I'll try to run through it real quick here. So for me right now, okay, I'll try to find a clip where it's kind of traditional. We'll go to the first one right here. So the first strategy for me in hockey right here, this guy right here, I want him to have the puck on the power play in that area right there. And the reason why I want him to have the puck in that area right there is I think it's the hardest to defend against is when the D-man gets the middle of the ice. A couple things. If he's in the middle of the ice, that's the T intersection. His pass, everybody's watched Ovechkin score a gazillion goals from there with just that one pass, and it's great. But he has that money line play. He has this money line play, and it sets up a bunch of other money line plays. If he makes that money line play, what you're trying to do, he has that money line play once he gets it in that area right there. So for me, the first thing I would do is get my D off the wall and get him to the middle of the ice. That's my QB. He's going to run everything from there. The other thing I would do is trying to teach from a power play perspective, and you can see this one very clearly. I call it the seam passes. Very rarely should a seam happen when it's like that. So if Stamkos was here, Kuch was here, Kucherov was here, the T intersection guy goes, this is easy. They're right there. Okay, you can see that. The thing that happens on this play, if they want to make the play right here, is that they're kind of on different planes. Okay, he's on a lower plane. What I mean by a lower plane, that's his upper one, and now he's on a lower one. So if Stammer was up here, I'd want Kucherov down here. So those are things you can teach the flanks, is don't be parallel to each other. It's easy for the T guy to cut you off and stand between you. But when he's parallel and one's higher and one's lower, it becomes very difficult for him to find these guys. The other thing too, and this is the most important part if I was building a power play, is this bumper guy. We didn't really get into many situations with him, but his positioning can deteriorate from what happens on the play. So if I run it through this one here, because of where this guy is, he's scared to leave this guy open in the slot, even though he's a right-handed shot. So what he's doing is he's drawing coverage, which is opening up in seams, and that's where you're getting these plays from here. The last one here I would talk about is your net front presence. This guy right here, there's a couple different things I would teach him. One, from a perspective, any pass that's made from a money line to here, I want you backdoor so it's an easy tap in play. That's the one thing I want. Any shot that comes from the top, from up here, if he was to shoot this, I want you directly in front of the goalie, and I don't want you to move. I want you to take away his eyes. Okay, those are things. So if he makes this one, you move backdoor. This pass alone, because of the percentage that goes up, this shot can beat him cleanly, or you have the backdoor option, which is an easy tap in, which we've seen on a couple other videos. So just to recap that, we'll go through the whole thing again. First things first, tell your D, you want to operate here. That's your QB. We want to operate here. Flanks, don't be on the same level right there, or parallel to each other. Be above. Bumper, What your job is to suck coverage in, get people to come to you, even though you might be a decoy most of the time. You're in the prime scoring area, and if they do leave you alone, obviously we've seen plays like this where we go to the next one here. They want the puck in the middle. He's coming over to help block that shot, but he's also taking away this guy right here. And as you can see, they leave him wide open because of the positioning. Now, the other thing too is when pucks get low, this is what the scene you want. You want 4 at the net if you're a power play guy. Always want 4 at the net, just like this. It's a nice, guys got all their options in the world, and they can make these little small area passes just like they do right there. So those are things I would start with. As far as defending this, right now, I would talk about all these things I talked about before was 1, pace, 2, protect the middle of the ice. So if this does come to the middle of the ice, you should be going at this guy. So he has to get out of the middle and back down the wall, walking him in these soft areas. So those are the things that I would talk about right away with defending anything is pace, sticks, and getting guys out of the middle of the ice. Anything else?
Awesome. Okay. At the squirter peewee level, is there a certain power play or penalty kill that you recommend when first introducing special teams? Or is there an overall concept of recognizing 2-on-1s that are most important?
Yeah, I think recognizing 2-on-1s would be my first start, and just understanding. So we do this drill. I'll draw a net here. So say we had a line of players here, a line of players here, a line of players here, and a line of players here, going that way. So what ends up happening is say this guy has a puck. He's allowed to pass to any player he wants. But as soon as he passes, he has to jump into the middle of the ice. Obviously, you have a goalie and net. He has to jump in the middle of the ice and figure out which the most dangerous play is. So if I pass to that guy right now and he starts walking in, I have to recognize that the guy behind me is the most dangerous play. If he passes to this guy, he shouldn't score from there. If he passes to this guy, I'm still in a good spot to defend. So understanding what it is right away. The other way to do that is have yourself pass as a coach, so he doesn't recognize right away, because the kids get smart. They realize where they're passing and they're like, all right, I know where my guy is. So right now you tell him to go in the middle of the ice, and you have your net right here. And this is a way to set up a penalty kill right away, is having kids identify who's the most dangerous guy. So say you throw a puck to this guy and the kid comes out of this area right here, the hockey player does. This guy has the puck. He has to get all the way here and understand that guy becomes the most dangerous guy. So it's quick identifying who's the most dangerous guy. And there's quick drills. We actually do this drill at our level still, just to get your brain turned on to who the most dangerous guys are. So I would start with that. As far as running a power play goes, you don't have guys like this. And for the most part, you don't have enough time and practice to develop a man like this with a one-timer, or a guy like that with a one-time. That's more of a skill drill later on. So I would have these guys flip side, and I would have them move the puck as fast as possible, no matter what. 1,000, 2, 1,000. You got to get it off your stick and move the puck. You got to think next play mentality. So as this puck's approaching to him right now, actually, this is the one I want right here to show you. You'll watch this play develop. As this puck is coming to him, he already knows. He's pumped. He already knows what he was going to do with the puck. So knowing what you're going to do with the puck before it comes to you is the most crucial thing to playing fast in any league. He already knows that. There you go, right on his tape. So playing fast and knowing what your next play is probably things I would teach in the fundamentals I would teach young kids.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. I think that's all we have time for tonight. Thank you so much for your time and presenting and putting this all together for our coaches. Everyone have a great night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John. We appreciate it.
No problem. Anytime.